Hi everyone, week 3 is done and here's how it went. Treatment week 3, first day is done. I've had lots of messages from my fellow Lyme patients asking me to do a video on positive mindset and how I keep my head in the right headspace during treatment. I thought today would probably be a good day to do that because I haven't had a good day today. I had a rough night last night, wasn't feeling well this morning. It's been a really long day. I'm also the start of week 3, which is the middle of my treatment. I always find the middle of things is the hardest. I used to be that way at camp as well. Middle day of camp was always the hardest one to get through. I'm lucky because I always have had quite a positive mindset to start with, but on days like today where it is tough, what I tend to do is just break my day down. So I don't think of the day as a whole. I break it into chunks and then it seems more bearable. Like I had started today off with Icon. It was all about just getting through that lymphatic drainage session. And then I let myself think about the next session and the next session after that. So I hope that makes some kind of sense, but that's how I do it, is just break it down into different chunks. And when I'm having a really bad time in a session or anything else, I try and focus on the positive. So I might not like the treatment I'm having, but I'm lucky to have a nice doctor. Or they might have trouble getting a vein, but the nurses are lovely and make that process easier. So that's sort of how I tend to deal with the bad days. And I've always dealt with things like that. I just break it down into bite-sized chunks. So I hope that answers the question for those of you who messaged to ask. Today was a really big day again. I started the day with Icon, so lymphatic drainage, followed by physiotherapy, then UFO, then infrared sauna. Then I went down to the blood section of the clinic and had 10 pass, my 3 IVs, and IV laser. So another big day. I'm also on colonic prep again today. I've got colonics twice this week, which means a restricted intake of food, which makes the long days even more tiring. So I'll be glad when tomorrow's over as well. But that's today wrapped up. First big treatment win today, which is so exciting. Those of you who know me know that I've had issues with autonomic dysfunction or dysautonomia for a few years now. It started off with my heart rate, then it went to blood pressure, circulation, temperature regulation. Eventually 2 years ago, my bladder started being affected. And basically the autonomic nervous system, which is the part of your body that controls everything you don't think about in my body, is broken. And we think that's been triggered by the Lyme disease. They sort of go hand in hand. So we've been struggling with that for a long time. And every year we seem to get a new thing added in that doesn't work. So last year was the bladder issues, and I have to have surgery twice a year to correct that because the damage is quite significant. And with that, basically the muscles in my bladder contract at the wrong times. They're not getting the messages from my brain that they should. I was told by my urological surgeon, cardiologist, and GP that the next thing to be affected would probably be digestive system, intestines, bowel. And that was probably my biggest fear because it means another specialist, some brutal treatment, and potentially some very serious surgical implications at the end if the deterioration continues. Coming here, I had quite a few symptoms that showed us that had progressed to the intestines already. My goal coming was basically to try and halt that deterioration and, if possible, if we could, reverse it slightly as well. And I said that it would be worth coming just to have that fixed, because it has such impacts on my day-to-day life. So today we are 2.5 weeks in. They told me I'd probably start to see results on week 4. When I had my first intestinal procedure done right at the very beginning, the nurse was horrified because she could feel the muscles contracting at the wrong time, and parts of my intestines were actually paralyzed, like they just weren't working. Now, 2.5 weeks in, and today's procedure, everything worked as normal. And I've noticed a difference day to day as well. It's the first time the digestive system in a couple of years seems to be back to the way it should be. We're not getting too excited yet because, we don't know if the results are going to be permanent or not, but all indications are that we're heading in the right direction. This is a really positive sign, and if we can continue the way we have for the last couple of weeks, I'll be very happy, because it's a total lifestyle change for me, being able to do so much more and not have all those intestinal complications that we've had before. So heading in the right direction, I feel. Today I had the colonic hydrotherapy to start, then I had my 3 IVs, then I had the IV bags on my legs, UFO, and finished off with autohemotherapy, which is the blood removal out of my veins and then injected into the muscles. So still really tired, still herxing, gonna rest this afternoon, ready for a big day tomorrow. Interesting treatment day today. Started off with Icun, which is most definitely still my least favourite of all the treatments. I find it quite painful. Then I had UFO, I had infrared sauna and water balance, then went down to 10 pass, which I turned into my own little treatment today. Ended up being 5.5 pass because I blew a vein partway through the procedure. I'm actually surprised I haven't blown a vein before now, because we're 2.5 weeks into treatment, and given my track record of doing that, 2.5 weeks in for the first one is actually pretty good. I am in a lot of pain today. I just managed to get through my IVs and the IV laser after what was meant to be the 10 pass. Everything is bruised. I am bruised in places that I didn't even know I could bruise, not just from the needles, but from the Icun and all the other treatments I'm having. But as they keep telling me, it's just part of the process. I'm going to rest up this afternoon because I'm absolutely exhausted, and get ready to go again tomorrow. Thursdays are definitely my favourite day of treatment, because I only have half a day on a Thursday due to the medical facilities closing at lunchtime in Cyprus. So today I started off with UFO, physiotherapy, some rehab, then I have my 3 IVs and the ozone bags on my legs. I'm on colonic prep again today, so resting this afternoon because the prep knocks it out of me, and ready for a big day tomorrow. Long day today, but a good day, even though I can barely stand up now. Started the day off with rehab, very intense session, about an hour and a half, just working on muscles and legs. Then had water balance, then went to 10 pass, which was not 10 pass again today, but in a good way, because my veins blew on Wednesday. They did 16 pass today, which 10 pass knocks you. You can imagine what 16 pass does to you, but the vein held up, so that's great. Then I had my 3 IVs and then went up to my colonic hydrotherapy. Good news there again. The nurse that does the procedure said to me that she actually has no words for the difference between the first time I had the procedure done and today, because she said it was like the opposite. of the two. Today, everything went smoothly. So it's a sign that the treatment is going really well. So very much a positive. I'm ordering in again tonight because I don't have the energy to do anything right now. I would be thankful if Mr. Trump would slow down a bit on the Australian dollar, because I have noticed a really big change in the Australian dollar against the euro since I got here. But ordering in, glad to have that service available, because there's just some nights I just would not even be able to cook anything without passing out, and tonight is one of them. So resting up tonight, quiet morning tomorrow of treatment, and then looking forward to a day off on Sunday. Last day of treatment for the week today, thank goodness. I feel like this week has just dragged on forever. Started off with UFO, then into the blood department, which was insanely busy this morning. Every single bed was full. I had my 3 IVs, autohemotherapy, and the ozone bags on my legs. Then went up for ICOON. I had the doctor who has been working with me most days since I arrived. Unfortunately, today was her last day, which I'm very sad about. She's moving into palliative care oncology. But she's got to know my body really well, and because of all the bruising I've been having, lowered the setting on the machine today, which made the process so much more bearable, so much better. She's going to let the other staff know what the settings need to be so we can try and minimize the bruising moving forward. It was interesting having discussions with her over the past few weeks. I've decided while I'm here to try and do a little bit of research while I have the opportunity to talk to all these amazing people. And she's a junior doctor, so I wanted to understand, does her knowledge of Lyme disease come from her training, or is it just because she works in a clinic that specialises in treating Lyme disease? So I was asking her about what they learn in uni about these illnesses, and was quite surprised because she told me that they learn how serious Lyme disease is, how important it is that it's treated early and not get to a late stage. They learn how to recognize the signs and symptoms and what to do about them. And it's just made me wonder, how different the situation would be for Australian Lyme patients if our doctors learnt the same things as what is being taught in the Cyprus universities as they're going through their training. What a difference that would make for patients moving forward in the future. So that process for me has been very interesting, because we've long been saying the education around Lyme disease needs to change, the stigma around Lyme disease needs to change, and here it has, and it's done so well. I'd love to see Australia start sending junior doctors and senior doctors and politicians over here to see what's actually happening, and the difference that can be made if it's done in a different way. So that's been really interesting for me to understand those processes and how they work from continent to continent. And that's something I intend to try and find out some more about while I'm here in the next few weeks. So done for the week. I'm going to rest the next couple of days. I'm very tired after yesterday's 16 pass that I had, and also the fact that I've had so many treatments this week. But looking forward to starting week 4 next week and seeing what results we can get.